There was dancing. Lots of dancing. Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I'm your host, Roman. Today we are going to talk about House of the Dragon, Episode 5, We Light the Way. Now, this episode was very interesting. This was even more plotting and scheming and plotting than in the previous week's episode. It's one of those episodes, it's funny because it doesn't feel like a lot happened, but then when you think back on everything that happened, an awful lot happened. So it picks up, we're still dealing with the aftermath of Daemon and Rhaenyra's night out, and of course Rhaenyra's interaction with Sir Criston Cole. Remember, her father exiled Daemon, fired Hightower as the Hand, and told Rhaenyra she is going to marry Lenore Valerian, the son of Corlys Valerian, the Sea Snake, to strengthen the houses and basically bring order. And she agreed to it because it was her duty. Pardon me. The episode finds us on a ship with Viserys going to visit the Sea Snake to make these arrangements. And the journey isn't good for him. He is not doing very well as far as health goes. They arrive. The Sea Snake is being kind of a dick. He doesn't come out to greet Viserys, and then they do this whole dance around about last name, and he wants the Valerian name to pass on to the line of kings. And Viserys is like, well, yeah, she can take the name when they wed, but when their heir becomes king, then it's going to become Targaryen again. So, little back and forth. So now Rhaenyra and Lenore are walking on the beach, and we discover Lenore doesn't really dig chicks. That's not his thing. He has a boyfriend, Jeffrey Lonmouth, who's the Knight of Kisses, which is a terrible name. So that's not really working so well as far. But Rhaenyra thinks back on what her uncle told her about once you get married and do your duty, it doesn't matter. And they actually come to that agreement. We will do our duty for our family and, to the realm, but in our off time, we can do whatever we want. And he's okay with it. She's okay with it. Jeffrey's okay with it. But the one who isn't okay with it, well, there's a couple, actually. So, Rhaenys, the queen that never was, fears that when Viserys dies, and that seems to be coming sooner than later based on his health, that it's going to put their son in danger because she has the same perception that a lot of people do, that a queen will not be accepted as ruler. And then everything erupts into chaos and violence, and then they're putting their son squarely in the middle of that. And that's probably the case. Let's not kid ourselves. But also, Sir Criston Cole. He has fallen head over heels in love with Rhaenyra. On the journey back, after the arrangements have been made, on the ship, he asks her to run away with him, basically. They'll go off, they will live anonymously normal lives. And Rhaenyra basically laughs in his face, all but. and said, that's not the life that I want. Oh. And she's like, and she tells Sir Christian, yeah, we can just continue doing this. And he's basically like, there's no future in this. He doesn't want to live that way. To his credit, I mean, he's a stand-up guy in a bad situation. And that's it. That's the reality of it. And he knows that. So when they get back, Alicent, the queen, summons for Sir Christian. She is asking a question that he misunderstands, because she wants to know what happened that night that Rhaenyra snuck off. And Sir Christian thinks she is asking about his turn of events with Alicent. And Kingsguard, you're not supposed to do that. He asked for a merciful death rather than being tortured, gelded, and then killed. Oh my. Now he's revealed this. And Alicent just says, you may go. So she's got this bit of information now that she didn't have before. And it's not the one she was expecting to get. Okay, all right. Gosh. Daemon, who has been exiled again, goes to the Vale, which you'll remember from Game of Thrones, to find his wife, Lady Rhea of House Royce, and immediately murders her so that he can take her inheritance. Okay. We go back and forth with this character on. I really like him, and then he does some very skeevy stuff. You don't see a ton of Matt Smith in this episode. You get this scene and then the wedding coming up, but that's really it. You get some interaction between him and Daryl. We'll get to that in a sec. So now the wedding is basically on. We go from the murder scene to the wedding almost immediately, which is whatever. So it's full court. Again, there's dancing and there's feasting and all the things. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I have to backtrack briefly. Viserys, as we said, isn't doing well. He's getting leeched because that's what they did back then. And he has a new hand, Lionel Strong. Seems a very capable man. He's not the political maneuverer that Otto Hightower was, but he seems like he's actually a decent guy. That almost never goes well. And Viserys is lamenting that while he was king, he really never did anything. Nothing really happened. He wishes he had been tested. And so you see kind of the sadness that has crept into him. And then we come to this scene, which is actually particularly well done. It's between Otto, who is leaving the keep, and his daughter, Alicent. And he tells her that, look, he is going to die. And when he does, there's going to have to be a choice made. Rhaenyra will, in all likelihood, want to kill your sons to cement her position as heir and ruler. Or you can throw yourself at her mercy. That's what's coming, daughter. And that sinks in with Alicent. So she has the information about Sir Criston, and now she has this, and she's in a spot. Now, when the wedding does come, the king is standing up, and he's just started his speech, and Alicent is late. And when she does come in, she makes a statement in what she is wearing. She is not wearing the colors of House Targaryen. She is wearing the colors of House Hightower. That's a bit of a slap in the face to her husband. But it does send a message. It does send a message. And Daemon shows up as well. the king isn't particularly happy. Daemon's not happy because Daemon doesn't want Rhaenyra to marry Lenore, the sea serpent. Corlys Valerian's son, the sea snake, the sea serpent. It was kind of funny, but only in my head. Now, there's a lot of things that happen in the scenes that follow. Daemon and Rhaenyra dance, and this is another ick moment where he's like, you don't want to marry him. And she's like, well, why don't you marry me then? You know, that's sick Targaryen shit. And we can rule from Dragon's Keep, or Dragon's Landing. And it just gets weird, and then that stops. Now, Joffrey, the boyfriend of Lenore, he knows that Sir Christian has some interest in Rhaenyra. I don't think he really understands exactly what it is, but he suspects. And Lenore already told Joffrey the arrangement, that everything was going to be fine. And he approaches Sir Criston Cole. And basically, it's almost like he's trying to, like, oh, look, everything's fine. You'll have yours. I'll have mine. Everybody will be happy. But he doesn't know that she's already rejected Sir Christian in his attempt to bring them together in a more permanent and normal fashion. So Sir Christian's still deeply hurt here. And we don't see how this escalates, but it escalates rapidly and horribly to the point where Sir Christian has bashed in Joffrey's skull with all the people watching. And he gets dragged off. Lenore is weeping loudly over the body of his now deceased boyfriend. The Valerians pull him off as it is an embarrassing moment for them. And there's a pretty rushed wedding that happens. And now, Sir Criston is going to kill himself. That is what he has decided he is going to do. He feels everything, and he's demonstrated that everything is pretty much over. But the Queen stops him. And we don't see what happens here. But something does. These two are now forming some kind of alliance. And I don't think it's like in a dark, horrible way. I just think they're both pretty broken and screwed up at this point from all of the things that have happened. And somehow she is going to save him from this. I hope she does. I like Sir Christian. He's literally one of my favorite characters on the show. He's a nice guy. But things have not gone well. He wasn't so nice to Joffrey, I suppose. But things haven't gone well. And that's pretty much where we end. And again, it didn't seem like a lot was going on when I watched the episode, but then you go back over the episode and you realize, oh my God, all of these things happened. This is an interesting episode as well, because this is the last episode with young Alicent and young Rhaenyra. The actresses change over in the next episode. So we're going to have I would imagine, sizable time jump. So there's probably going to be all kinds of things that will have happened when we get to the next stage. So I'm really interested to see what that's going to look like, especially with all the groundwork, everything that they've, over the last 5 episodes that they have put in place. What's going to happen with Daemon? You know, is the king still alive? All of these things, they've done an awful lot in 5 episodes. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really curious to see what happens. And the show is still good. The show is still good. Watch this show. It's not like She-Hulk. But that's kind of it for now. This is one of those shows that makes you think about it. And that's always good. When you're trying to figure out what exactly is happening, who's aligning with whom, and what the end game is for a lot of these characters. I mean, I hope Sir Christian gets to hang in there, but you know, it is Game of Thrones. So, who knows? For now, this has been Roman of the Empire. Please like and subscribe, as it does help out our fledgling channel. Signing off, be kind.